Hey, we're back. No, just fucking. No, we're doing another upward review. It's gonna be the first one in season 23. I can't wait.
It's also the first one of the year 2026.
I swear to God, sweet. I swear to God. Nah, it's fucking. No, you're right though. You're right. But anyway, we'll talk about offense first, then defense, then swap to the next point. Offense, defense, vice versa, every single time. So, for offense, there's a couple of ways that you could play this. The number one way that I really want to try and get better at is just doing the sack. For me, it's just getting whipped by my soldier. I've kind of neglected to go main. I've kind of been going a little bit over hill, kind of over here. And sometimes I've gone main, but people have been much better at spamming you out walking through. So like a heavy or a sniper, or even just a demo playing in main. They've been really good at just stuffing me out. However, you can just change it up a little bit. Remember, you're not the only person in the sack, and your main goal is to try and get some damage on people who are important to the whole. So if you can, try killing the heavy, try killing the sniper, the medic, or the demo. Sometimes if you can get the gun, but try to live afterwards. Don't die for it. But usually, most of the time, the sack is going to revolve around the fact that your team is already in, and you're going to be in a position where you're either following through on what they're damaging, or you're going to create an opportunity for people to bomb into those people. So like, for example, when you go main, most of your attention will be brought over to maybe the demo who's playing over by main 2. So if you are able to call for your team like, hey, we should shoot the demo, you deal 80 damage to him, your soldier, your demo, they're going to turn their attention to him, he might die. Or might even force the Uber because they want the demo to live during the Uber. Which happened in scrims last week, but that shouldn't be the case. They should not be using Uber, the demo should just die. Alternatively, you could go over hill to focus the gun and also follow through on damage, but just be aware of snipers, be aware of anybody who's going to be picking. And of course, throughout all of this, the number one thing you want to look for is not giving banner to the soldier as much as you want to be aware of where the sniper is, where the heavy is, where their combo is. So soldier is going to be playing up here most of the time by the ammo pack, and if he gets a lot of damage onto you, that's basically a free Uber for them. So don't let them get that from you. Besides that, the other normal way that you'd want to start the beginning of the match, before that, just make sure that you're also watching for stickies, Fist of Steel. Just make sure that you're counting the stickies as well, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, or something along those lines. I think I counted 9 stickies. Yeah, I did. No, 10.
You did?
No, 10. Yeah. But the other idea is for you to just get on the cart from this left side. I don't go out the other sides because they're just not really that useful. So most of the time, I'm just paying attention with my team. If they want to delay a sack a little bit, I'll stand on the cart, and I'll just push it for as long as they need to before we do the sack. Because the sack doesn't need to be done immediately. When the spy is getting up, he's calling where people are at. He's going behind for the telly, or he's getting ready for the stab. This gives you and your team enough time for you to push it all the way up towards this point. Once it gets over here, you can then back off, walk in for the sack, or if you guys are going for an Uber exchange, you back up all the way back over here. The important reason why I'm changing it up this season is because people have been spamming me and I've been losing crit heals playing over here. Even if it's slightly better. I would rather just take the chance at not getting splashed, play up above where the splash is, and check for spies in all of these certain places as well. Well, I mean that too, but the spy never goes up here anymore. Well, that's not the only place. You could stand over here. Like, if he really wants to... can I actually make the jump as heavy? I don't think I can without group. Yeah, it's fine. But overall, you're just waiting for an Uber when you're playing over here. You're just spy checking, checking the signs, checking on top of the rocks, on the rocks themselves, and just making sure that your team is aware. You're aware for your team, and when the post is called, here's what you do. You leave this spot, check over here, Fist of Steel, you're going all the way over to flank, or you're playing in main. I don't prefer to play over hill, but in case the gun is low and there's no soldier, or maybe there's no spam, that would be a time for you to play over hill to try and get the gun and help your team push the cart. Alternatively, You could go main, push the cart this way, and you can head glitch behind it for a little bit up until you get to this cubby. Once you get to this cubby, it's really good to kind of hold here and wait for your team to walk in. From here, you can also wait for any sort of demo or pressure to walk through. If you see them close, you can try spamming them out. If they walk up close to you, then it's a free kill. If they back up, or if you see that you can catch them out, that's also a good idea, like maybe they're back over here. But the most important part is you just nailing the timing with your team. If you're able to get over here, it's a win condition, but it doesn't win you the game unless you play it right. This gives your team a big advantage when it comes to pushing main, because this is where the demo is going to be standing, and then your team can focus on pushing the cart and clearing out playground. This is a very, very dedicated push to main specifically. And that's why I like going to it, because it's very objective oriented, because no matter what, you're always getting time on cart. The only big worries is, again, the sniper, the heavy, the demo, and where the gun is at. Because if they check you on this angle, and you're not sitting behind the cart, you might die. So just be careful of that. Another thing that you could try to do is go around, making a longer rotate, but one that people aren't expecting you to be at. So, for example, one thing that you could also do during the mid-fight, or not the mid-fight, but the post-fight, you're going over here by flank, and then once you guys are ready, you, your soldier, and a couple of other people on flank are going to spam out the heavy. Sometimes the heavy is going to be playing over here, and sometimes the heavy is going to be playing over here by this left side. It's important that you use this rock to head glitch where this heavy's at. That way you could just spam them out, force them to drop down, and then, with the proper calls and the proper picks, you can decide whether to go on top of playground and try to fight it with your team, or you can then actually feint the jump and go into main instead. So it might look something like this. Just be aware, I really don't like playground pressure all too much on heavy. It takes a while, and usually, if people lose it, it's because it's their fault, not so much they're forcing mistakes. There's just very little room to play around if a team is playing better than y'all. Or if there's a team that's, like, really nailing down this playground hold. That's why I really like trying to force pressure into main, which forces attention off of playground onto main, which is where most of the pressure is going to be happening. Of course, this is my opinion. I don't want to say that this is like the best play. This is just what's kind of worked for me. Other people have seen a lot of success trying to push over playground, but it's usually just not the best for me. And another thing that I've also seen heavies do, they've been pushing a little bit towards the right side, trying to get behind a little bit. Like, instead of playing over here and trying to make their way over to main, sometimes they've been playing over here by the pack to maybe go behind or stuff this heavy out of one side of playground. Is this something that a heavy should be doing? In my opinion, probably not. Mostly because you want objective time, you want this to be as seamless and fast as possible. If you go around to a different location, that might be fine if you're slowly getting back to the objective like what we're doing in flank right now, but the important thing is once you pass this, you're either playing the objective over here, or getting ready to fight, which is close to the objective, which is fine. You can always drop down, get on the cart, push main if this isn't working. But over here, you're in enemy lines. And you won't be able to back up as easily as if you were to play main. So keep those options in mind. Also, another thing, just one important thing, soldiers will be spamming you, so just make sure that you're looking out for that. If the heavy dies, the soldier's going to be jumping onto playground to get spam onto you, so please, please be careful of that. It still should be a winning fight, but you have to play it right. And then, yes, that is also another thing as well. If you guys are able to coordinate with your sniper, this heavy playing over here won't be able to do much. The only thing that he can really do is kind of play to prepare for a situation like this. Like, he sees you all walking up, for example, and he's going to be playing around this area to stop you from jumping onto playground. But he still gets spammed from these angles once you're around this rock. It's much better for an offense heavy to be taking this than a defense heavy to be standing here. Not just because this is a better angle for them. This is a much better angle for the defender. Like, this is the best angle for them to sit in if they're able to sit in it. But it's not going to be ignored by spam. In fact, spam is actually the best way for a person to deal with that heavy by the staircase. So if you have a demo, and he's calling your and your sorry, I can't word today. Sorry, no. Long day. It's been a long day, but
It's alright.
heavy. He's staying by staircase. You ask your demo to spam. This heavy is now going to be a much easier target to kill. So if you force him back on those staircases, you tell your demo to play main and to spam this heavy out. These are going to be the small niche interactions that your team is going to utilize to win this playground and therefore win the point. Because once you have the entirety of playground, there goes their entire base. They're going to feel more inclined to leave as soon as possible. Besides that, though, for offense, there isn't too much I'd say besides just doing the normal game plan of pushing the cart up. Although there is one thing that I will say. Unironically, I feel like it would be better for you to keep on pushing cart for as long as possible with Fist of Steel. The reason being, you want as much cart time before you take an Uber as you can. But also, it's just nice to have more objective time and being more efficient with your time and being more efficient with the push as well. Although you might die playing this spot, and that also does include soldiers getting banner off of you, so again, please be careful when you do that. And also another thing, when you're playing around this angle, Spy has an easy time jumping on top of your head, so always be Spy checking no matter where. Especially on flank. If you're by the cliff side, you're going to be checking a whole lot more angles than you would be over here, playing in main, or even just playing over here by the left side. These are the angles that you're going to be looking at. But then once you go over to this rock, when your team is getting ready for a push, you spy check a little bit, scan the surrounding area. Maybe the spy is standing over there. Maybe he's standing on the signs, nearby the signs, playing the rock. Maybe he's playing on top of the rock or is playing back closer towards his team, just because he doesn't want to get caught out. There's a variety of ways that he can kind of get in. So please be aware of where he could stand and be aware of when the timing is right for him. Because that is also another important aspect. Usually when you're around over here, the spy is going to try to go for you, is what I've seen. Like once you're transitioning from this rock over to this rock. So you can fight this heavy. Of course, another class that you need to look out for is Scout. Is Soldier as well if he's playing over here by Playground, but Scout, he has toys to kind of pester you, harass you, and kind of just harass the rest of your team if they're trying to go over here, so please be on the lookout for that. As well as the heavy, who's going to be playing over here either on the right side or on the right side of Playground, where he's just going to kind of fight you if you're trying to go over towards the rock. Like before you're going over towards the rock, he's going to try to catch you out. Or if he can't catch you out over here, maybe he might run over here to kind of prepare for a push. But again, this is going to be much worse for him the longer this fight happens. So, the idea of a defense heavy should just be to deny people from getting in. If the fight becomes elongated for whatever reason, this heavy's going to have a much worse time than the offense heavy. And that's what you need to abuse. You need to abuse the fact that sometimes that heavy will not get the help he needs, and you are just going to bully him away from these spots. With that being said, there isn't too much to really say about first offense. It's just being able to push the cart, being able to sack with your team, and just knowing when's the right opportunity to peek. Like I said before, playing the objective is probably the best way for you to play it. It's very straightforward, very easy to kind of mix around the gameplay a little bit. Utilize the cubby if you can, and try pressuring with your team if you're able to see when they're walking in, and then just helping your team like that. Alternatively, if your team has a really good flank, or maybe you guys know what to do to deal with the heavy on Playground, you can help your team by pressuring with them, forcing them to make mistakes by hiding in the angle over here. Your demo then takes care of that. You peek with your team, and then this Playground fight is just one for y'all. With that being said, let's talk about defense, because defense is substantially more simple. Every time before the fight happens, I'd like you to sit on the pack over here and wait until 2 seconds. And it's weird. You might have to adjust it to 3 seconds because you might not have the timing down, or it might just be a bit too much for you to get into the position. But what I like to do, I sit over here until like 58 seconds has passed, drop the sandwich, and I go immediately onto playground to play the right side. The reason why I play the right side and I play like this for the sack is mostly because this gives you the most visibility. This allows you to peek in this angle in case people are flying over here. And if you're playing the back over here, this wall completely obfuscates anybody going towards this left side. So I prefer to play a little bit up, even if that means the longer I sit here, the more likely it is that I will get spammed by people like the demo or the soldier or even just a heavy walking here. And when you are dealing with the sack, just be aware that these guys above, the soldier, the demo, these guys are going to be your main priority, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't worry about the other classes like the heavy as well. If for whatever reason you're able to sit up here, you're going to be able to see exactly when the demo bombs in, you're going to be able to catch out the soldier as well. But another thing too, you're just making sure that people in main are properly dealt with. But the disadvantage with this is that people are going to be playing out. Maybe the sniper might take a weird angle in the beginning to try and force you to not do that. So it's just more of a option select than anything else. If you know that the sniper is not going to peek the left side, you can play a little bit more aggressive, with the cost and the risk that if you fuck up, you die and this playground becomes a whole lot harder to hold. But if you want a good middle ground, playing over here is perfect, except for watching main. And over here, you're not really watching main, you're just watching for the people above, so it's kind of the worst of both worlds. Besides that, if at any point before the Ubers get out, or the Ubers do get out, and your sniper kills their sniper, your sniper is going to be more inclined to play playground with you, and you should do the exact same. You guys should be playing aggressive, forcing them away from the spots that they normally hold at, catching out people, dealing damage accordingly. If people are leaving to spawn, you shoot the people in spawn because chances are they have 20 health and they can die really quickly. If not, you guys are just slowly but surely making sure that these players are going to have to get a rebuff, or they're going to have to use a lot of resources just to escape, and they're going to spend a lot of time regrouping. This is just a stalling tactic. So don't plan to stay here for a little while. Just make it so that whenever they try to push and their sniper dies, they really feel it. But sometimes your sniper dies, and that's going to allow them to start making a push possible. So what happens when a sniper dies? Normally this isn't what I usually talk about in the beginning, but I'm just going to discuss it now because it makes the gameplay a whole lot more harder for you to do if you sit in the normal angles. Because, like, for example, let's just say I'm playing over here, my sniper tries taking SVS and loses. Now playground is a bit more susceptible, and I don't have the information from my sniper. I have to get it from my demo, I have to get it from my spy, and importantly, I have to get it from myself. Because the spy is the only one who can really call out sniper in these positions, except for the demo if he's peeking over hill, one thing that you want to try and do is make a habit of, if it's necessary, getting information and doing it as quickly as possible. Maybe not so much doing this with the Fist of Steel, because this is very risky. You're not doing any damage, and if people are walking up while you do this, you're unprepared, which is really bad. But sometimes it is important for you to just get that little tidbit of information to make these holds a whole lot better. And especially for your team, if they know where the sniper is, it's going to be much easier for them to start holding without their sniper being present. But the most important angle for you to sit on, with the sniper, without the sniper, is going to be this spot, where you're kind of stuck on these two pillars. The reason why I say this is important is because this is the one that you can consistently try to peek and poke and prod main with, as well as flank. This is mostly used when they're getting into these positions, when they're slowly trying to get in. And usually, this works because the sniper is going to be inclined to play the right side. In this case, they're going to be playing on top of the rocks, they're going to be playing over hill. They're not going to be going over towards the left side of flank. With that being said, though, some snipers will play it a bit different. Some snipers will peek through this little gap and kill you without you realizing that that was an angle. Sometimes the sniper goes main. Other times he goes flank, and if that's the case, you kind of have to mirror what he does. The important part is you just have to be aware of where the sniper is at all times, but you also have to be aware of what the other people are doing. That's why it's important for you to play for information when you can, because the moment you lose that ability to get information, you play reactive. You're forced to make mistakes in order for you to keep on playing the spot. If you're forced to play all the way back, this gives them the room to spam you out. This gives them the room to push flank alone, uncontested. So it's just a balancing act of where the sniper is, what you could do in each situation, and how the other players in both teams will influence the fight. If the sniper plays up here, it's really unfortunate as well. But again, just mirror the side, and if you see him rotating, then you can try transitioning over to the other side, or maybe you can do it in a very, very safe way by just rotating around the staircase and Fist of Steel jumping onto the right side. At this point, we're just kind of giving ourselves that much less of an opportunity for the sniper to kill us. But besides that, the most important thing besides information is just area control. If they're all pushing main, you control this area, nobody's contesting you, you win. And if you have a sniper with you, it's going to be even harder for them to try and push that. However, these guys are going to be looking for those opportunities to get you out of that spot, to bully you out of that spot. So you need to be careful of where you're sitting, and you should primarily be doing this to catch them out when they're going into these angles. So it's important for you to have a constant stream of information, and you can't necessarily try to peek and get the information like that. The reason why I say this spot is great is because it gives you constant information without you having to peek your body. Sweech, could you actually go heavy for a second? I want to just show how it looks like. Because this spot is so good at peeking the two of the three lanes that people would normally push from, and you completely obfuscate yourself from being seen by the right side, you just have the ability to sit there for a little while. Can you actually go over to that spot so I could show them what I mean? So let's just pretend I'm a demo. I'm pushing over hill. I don't see the heavy at all. Maybe I see a stream of bullets, so I know he's on the left side, but I don't know how close he is to the left side. And the only chance that I really have at seeing where he is as soon as he tries peeking out. If he wants to get information, all he needs to do is peek out a little bit. He doesn't need to peek out too much. And if I'm standing in main, if I'm standing over here by flank, this guy is going to be dealing with me, and therefore I'm going to have to deal with him. That's the kind of job that you have to put on. You kind of have to force them to not so much make mistakes, but you have to force them to make these decisions because, in my opinion, I think first is a throwaway point that people hold for a lot longer than they should. In my opinion, it usually doesn't end up being this way because it's more of a hold now. People know how to hold it better. And it ends up being like a minute or 2 minutes to cap this point. But even still, you just have to make it as hard as it can for people to push into you. So, what happens if you don't have that constant stream of information? Let's just say they push main, right? Or they're done with an Uber exchange and you're slowly getting back into this position. You need to be aware of people who've already walked into flank, people who are currently walking into flank, people who are currently walking main who have already walked into main. And when you're taking these Uber exchanges, you're kind of playing your life, and you want to be in the closest position that you realistically can be. So one thing that I really like to do is during the Uber exchange, I like to hide over here. This is because people aren't going to be spamming me out until the end of their Uber. If I get spammed out, I drop down over here, and I play the staircase going up towards the left side if I need to, or trying to go all the way towards the right side to better fight them in main. The important reason why I say this is because some demos will sit over here, and they will try to spam you and your combo from main. If you're able to collapse on them with your team, it's going to be money. Another thing that's important, if they're prioritizing their flank players going over towards the left side, this might still be good because this watches over flank, but just remember, if their demo, their players are over here, that's one thing. If it's just the flank, that's when you have to rotate over. And from here, your scout and your soldier are going to have to work together to spam this heavy out. You're going to have to call where these guys are, you're going to have to do a bunch of damage to the heavy who's playing on the rocks, or anybody else who's just playing by them. You want to prevent them from jumping onto you. That's your main goal. It's not killing them outright. It's just preventing them from getting the space necessary to play up here and forcing you to play this head glitch. That's why this spot is also really good, because if people start jumping up, you directly counter that, but people are going to spam you out from this spot much harder than they would if you played this spot. And from here, then you'd have to drop down from main, and then they can slowly try to transition over, and because you're not faster than them, they're going to get onto playground before you're able to get onto playground over on the right side again. So, it's important for you to realize, hey, when is the best time for me to rotate over to these certain spots? When your team is losing a sniper, maybe losing a demo, not much you can do other than play the staircase over here. The reason being, this head glitch is oppressive, but it gives them full room to do whatever. The best part about this is that you're able to deny people walking in main, and you just have coverage of every single nook and cranny of the map that's in your line of sight, not around the entire map. You control your area the best that you can, but it does not... Sorry. You control the area as best as you can playing by the staircase, but that still doesn't stop them from influencing how you're going to play it. Like, if you're stuck playing over here, that's when the demo spam becomes oppressive. That's when they start walking in, and that's when you die. So please, please, please be careful of that. But it's also important to recognize that if your team is down players and you guys want to stay and hold, this is the place where you have to go before your classes are up. As soon as they're up, that's when you can go ahead and start playing more of the right side or the left side. If your demo dies and you're playing over here, that's one thing as long as you're not seen. But because you're playing on playground and you're playing to look at people, you kind of end up being seen. So now it becomes a question of whether or not you're playing to hide yourself and therefore be ready for any situation, or give information for your team, be seen, but be a threat that they have to deal with. This is an important choice. And there are many different situations where both of them do apply. This allows you to hide. If you're doing it properly, people won't see you. Of course, that doesn't stop Spy from getting behind and calling you out, which could then lead to you being exposed before you're prepared for anything. But let's just say that Spy just spawns, you're playing over here, he doesn't know where you're at, and he goes a different angle that he can't see. Now this spot becomes a whole lot better. But recognize what I said, because they didn't see you. If they see you at any point, the spots that you try to play at that are more aggressive become a lot worse if you don't have the players to help you out. But if you do have players that are helping you out, of course, it's always good. Just be careful about that. Besides that, there isn't too much to discuss about playing on defense on first, but there is some important things. If people are prioritizing a main push and you're playing over here by the staircase, you should fight them. If you're playing up here on the right side, you should also try to fight them. Maybe not drop down, but definitely force them out of that area into main where you can better put your attention to them. And then another thing too, if your team is getting ready to back up, you're still playing over here by playground up until your team is getting ready to leave. That's the time when you leave. When your team is fully out, when your team has the gun, your medic's already out, and it's just you and a couple of people running away. Of course, the other thing that you have to do, during this transition, you're holding out Fist of Steel, let go of the Fist of Steel once you're past that angle, rev, and look up. There are going to be sackers who bomb into you, or people who run into you. You are going to deny that. Besides that, that is pretty much it for first. We can talk about second offense now. Any questions, Sweet? Alright, sweet. So offense has been discussed about with me and a couple of different other mentors in the past. I really liked playing in tunnel. Mostly because this is the angle where I was taught to play the most. This is the one that people usually gravitate towards, and it's important. Once you get tunnel, you're pushing the cart, you're getting cap time. More so than anything else, before you do anything else, you're getting cap time as much as you can without taking too much damage. If you take too much damage while you're playing over here, close to the tracks and by this by tunnel. Sorry, I don't know why I forgot to call that. If you're close to tunnel and you take a lot of damage, you are just not going to be able to retreat. So gauge whether which situation is important for you, especially if the person spamming you is a soldier and you don't want to give that soldier banner. So play it smart. Bring it up to as much as you can, and with the help of your team, you're maintaining it, and you're also maintaining pressure in tunnel. Of course, at the same time, you and your soldier, much less your scout and NG, are going to be worried about playing side tunnel. And from here, this is where it gets a little bit dicey, because people can walk into you, or they can sit and wait for you to walk in. If they sit and wait for you to walk in, they're not actively peeking you. You're just going to have to make a base operation over here, and you and your soldier are going to have to time it with your team to then push it all in together to force a kill onto either the heavy, the soldier, or both of them if you get lucky. Now, this also depends, because the soldier might be playing deep inside tunnel. The heavy might be playing a little bit, not afraid, but just maybe he's playing the head glitch, maybe he's playing the body glitch, so if people start running in, he could back up and force a fight into his favor. He doesn't need to fight that, but then he can refight it whenever he wants. And these guys can't do anything about it. This head glitch also prevents people from kind of killing you, in a way, but of course, if you're able to get over here, without taking a whole bunch of damage, this fight then becomes a bit more even, but it's also really, really scuffed if it ends up being like that. I don't like playing the head glitch because this gives them more room to kill you, especially the soldier who's just going to be spamming this wall if you end up playing in the spot. So I would just be very, very careful if you're playing defense, but we're talking about offense. The reason why I say you guys have to peak at the same exact time with the correct timing with your team is walking over hill, they call you in, or because they're walking over hill, you and your soldier then take an opportunity to fight side tons during that push. Whatever that may be. If somebody's watching side tons, regardless of whether it's both the heavy, the soldier, or the heavy, you guys cannot be seen. It is important that I tell you this because if you try peeking and poking and prodding, they know what you're going to do. They then can prepare for it. You want to catch these guys off guard and get the kill, even if it means you guys both die. Because these guys have longer spawns, any kill you get is that much more impactful for the push. Plus, if you get a kill, but they both end up killing you, you call where that soldier is, and if your team is pushing over hill and they win the fight, this soldier then becomes a target. The people in cart will then target that soldier. For example, it'll just make it a whole lot more streamlined and that much easier to push. Even if you both die, as long as you get one pick and you guys if you guys go fast with the push again, it'll be fine. Of course, there is another idea for you to push, which is going into main tunnel, and this is kind of a play more so than a push. The reason why I say it's more of a play is because this is kind of just a sack. You and your soldier walk through main tunnel after you kill the gun, so you can catch up the people running away from your combo. This is especially good if your combo has Uberad of some sort, and you want to just guarantee that the medic is either forced, if they get immediately after they try pushing out, or after they try leaving, or you catch them before they have Uber, you kill them, and then you just try and win the game like that. I say it's more of a play because this kind of play I don't really like going for that much. You're risking your own life for a chance at a big play. While that can be useful sometimes, especially when your team has Uberad, this shouldn't be something that you do all the time. And I say you should do this during Uberad, I really mean you should just figure out what opportunities are best for your team to try and make this work. Not so much because you can theory craft it and therefore make it streamlined for you, but you have to be unpredictable when you use this. You have to kind of say to yourself, hey, what are they expecting of me? Can they see me? What do they expect me doing? If for whatever reason they're not expecting me to go main tunnel, it's going to be that much more impactful if the gun is dead and people are not looking main tunnel for us then to go main tunnel. But there's always going to be an eye on it. There's going to be spies that are behind. There's going to be an engineer who's building a gun over here. There's going to be a scout, a soldier. There's going to be a whole bunch of people looking for you. So when you are weighing the pros and cons of where to push, realize that this play requires a lot more than going side tons or going over hill, which we'll talk about next, but that's just my closing line for that. Going over hill is my preferred way of playing, mostly because the people in tunnel They can mostly just do this by themselves. They can push cart. They can deny people from walking into them from side tunnel. Your job then is when the cart is capped, your team is getting ready to push. You're jumping up all the way over here. You're waiting for your team to peek for you, so you're waiting for them. Then you're playing the angle very slowly, very methodically. The reason why I say this, if you peek out too early, you're exposing yourself to too many sight lines. If they're aggressive, they just kill you. So the important thing is, when are you supposed to push? But let me give you another thing to think about. When are you supposed to shoot? If you shoot right over here, they know where you're at. You give them the information that they're looking for. But if you slowly play this angle and make it so that they think that nobody's over here, it's going to be that much better for you to try and do something over there. What does a normal push look like? Most of the time, their team is going to be playing back over here. Or they might be playing behind the rocks, or they're going to be playing some variation. But keep in mind that they will be playing ever so slightly close to you, just not directly close to you. That's when you have to be smart, because if you just shoot them, they back all the way up, they spam the angle, and then your team and you have to kind of push it together. That's fine, but one thing I do like doing is if they like playing aggressive, just wait a little bit. And then, Sweej, if you can walk forward. You look for information, you see where they're at. And, you know, depending on the class, like the heavy's going to be a much easier class to kill. If he's playing, like, right over here, he's just dead. And also, if he's playing by the spot, right behind, you can actually see where he's standing by playing over here. So if he doesn't see you, you see him, you're prepared for that fight. But that heavy is not going to do that very often. So what should you be looking out for? You're going to be looking out for scouts, you're going to be looking out for demos. If you are playing in the spot, you're letting your team know you're playing the spot. Wait for them to get all the way over towards this house right here. They are just dead. If you see them past this point, they are a free kill if you keep on walking forward. However, if they're playing over here towards the open area, open sky, or by minecart, they're going to be able to run away, but you can give them chase. That's where your team is important. And that's how you want to play it. You're not playing this spot to get an advantage. You're playing this spot to secure the position. That's essentially what you're doing right here. Your team is walking in, you're supporting them. You look at them when you're pushing in, you're looking at where they're not looking. You just have a much deeper angle for you to look at. Your combo is going to be playing to secure this area. You're just going to be looking forward to see if there's any more threats like a sniper or people inside tunnel, which is why I think that is important, that when you're playing over here, the most important thing that you look out for is that visual information, but also what people are going to be expecting people to do. So, for example, I expect this heavy to be playing as a side tunnel because side tunnel is the best place for heavy to play on defense. What will I then do? I will walk on this wall. I will not go to minecart. I will not do any of that. I will hug this wall, and if my team is playing with me, I can maybe stop for a little bit, get a buff, and then peek the angle wide if I know this heavy is going to be fighting me. Or I can fight it close, and if I make it an even fight, maybe I might die, maybe he might outright die, but if he lives, I then have information and the damage to make that heavy's life a living hell. Because if he lives, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because sure, he might be able to get more if the team that you're if an aggressive team isn't, sorry, if the offense isn't expecting you to be playing side tuns, it's awesome. But because we're playing in a way where we're expecting it, if this heavy takes a lot of damage but doesn't die, not only does he lose the chance to immediately spawn, he then has to fight his way out. And then it's going to take him much longer to spawn if he doesn't just outright kill by him. So when you're playing this and you're hugging the wall, you're forcing a mistake because he's playing in a very aggressive spot without help from his team. And because it's very hard for him to leave this position once he's stuck in this position. So please be aware of this heavy in side tuns, or anybody else in side tuns for that matter. They could also make it very, very weird, where they could just sit in this corner. What I like to do is I actually just like to peek deep into side tuns, like deep super in, trying to wrap around over to cart almost, and just checking to see if there's anybody that I could really deal with. But that's banking on the fact that they're kind of allowing you to do that. Sometimes they won't, and that's what you want to bank on. But with that being said, the cart is pushed up, You guys are getting ready. What do you do before you make this last push? My opinion, you either play on the cart and help it get pushed, or you play over here to deny bombers, or anybody else walking up. This staircase is very important. It gives you information, and you can't be shot through it. If you see that bullets are flying through, they're playing close, you can wait for them to walk in, you can take the fight on your own hands, you can play above them, still watch out for bombers, watch out for spies, and it just gives you a lot of playing room. Use it wisely, because sometimes people will bomb in, and you won't be able to deny it, because there are so many people just walking in, bombing in, going behind. You are just there to hold for your team. You are the front line. I don't suggest playing over here, for example. Because if you're playing over here, you allow them to get that space. If you play up close, you have much more of a chance to catch them out in the space that they're trying to take. And also another thing. When you're pushing side tons, and if you win it, and you're not called, you're not seen, if you need to play this angle and your team is not ready to push, play it slow, but more importantly, try not to be seen. If this heavy's calling you out in side tunnels, maybe he's playing over hill. This is what I might sometimes do. I'll let somebody else peek side tunnel for me. I'm playing over hill with my combo, but I'm also kind of putting myself in a position where I can go back to side tuns in case people are there. This works in my favor because it ends up working out. Something like this, the heavy might try to peek me, he doesn't see me, he tries hiding around this angle. As soon as I'm over here, that's when I would usually try to peek. But on offense, you're going to have to be aware of these heavies who are just not there, not paying attention, who are not choosing to fight the side tunnel fight. If you are given a free chance to walk up, play it slow. Tell your team that you have side tunnel, that you're ready to push it at a moment's notice. Don't go immediately. Wait for an advantage. Wait for an opportunity. Because the moment that heavy looks away, you can either choose to play this wall, which prevents people who are walking up from seeing you. So like, for example, they're playing over here. If you play on this wall, you can better catch people who are playing aggressive over hill. And if they run back into you, you pinch them. Or if people are walking into you from this left side, you are preventing them from getting any space, and you are at the best angle for you to deal with them. And the same thing over here. If you're playing defense, this is where most people are going to be walking from. So if you're playing over here in side tunnels, this is the best place to not be seen. Of course, if they're walking into you, you have to play it a little bit smart. You might have to play the angle a little bit wide so it gives you more of an even fight. You might have to play it super close if you want to go in before they're ready to push you. Just the little things like that. That's why you have to be prepared when walking up main. Or walking up over hill, because these situations happen. Like, I'm just walking up, doing my thing, I'm slowly waiting. Maybe I grab the corner and pre-fire before I'm able to do anything. That's when the fight is going to happen, and it's going to drastically differ depending on how the heavy plays it. But we'll talk more about side tunnel and defense. I want to just talk about a couple of other things. Once your team secures this area, you can then go over to the window, and from here, you're either waiting for your team or you're taking the initiative. And I really want you to try and take the initiative if you see an opportunity to. If you just see players like the gun, maybe a sniper is not playing over here by tracks, maybe it's a demo, shoot the gun with your spy, and then drop down and allow your team to try and fight you. Or, sorry, try to fight this team, but with an advantage that people give you. Go fast. Don't wait. The longer you wait, the worse it's going to be for this push to work. So, when you're playing the spot, you drop down from the window, you play the head glitch. Once you're over here by the head glitch, and you force them all out, that's when you can start playing aggressive over here. Or, you play aggressive over here by the tracks, but the idea is still the same. From here, you're either watching directly from house, or you're going to tracks, so you can better deal with the people on tracks. The best part about it is now you have a head glitch on both sides, but these barrels also provide a pretty substantial head glitch as well. And it's just much better for you to not be seen over by it's much better for you to not be seen by the people on tracks, but if you do want to fight the people on tracks, you also have that option. So, that is offense, Pudis. I haven't really talked about pushing the cart all too much. We'll do that more on third, but now I kind of just want to get into the ideas of defense. Also, yeah, if the soldier is trying to spam you out, you can just see it. And you can be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna back up. And then play the head glitch. There's variation to it. But anyway, on defense, it's going to depend on what position you're holding and how much space you have. If you have all the space in the world, you're playing on hill with your combo, here's what I really like to try and do. I really want to try and kind of catch people. Not so much I'm ready to jump at them in a moment's notice, but I'm just prepared for them to push into me. What that means is I'm getting a buff, I'm playing over here by the corner, and I'm just kind of playing over by hill, but also being aware of side tons. I've done this before in the past where I've tried playing up like this, but this is just a bit too forward in my opinion. And it seems like a bit of a minute change, but when you're using all of your time to walk all the way up over here, and not enough time for you to peek into side tons, it matters, because those split-second decisions and your slow ass are going to change the mood of the fight, if you're not prepared. So, play this angle close, and more importantly, give information for your team, and also protect the angle and side tons. That is a fucking crazy angle. Is this actually better at taking the fight?
Yo, that's insane. This is winning for the offense, by the way. Holy shit.
I don't
Look
know
at
if
this.
it is. Oh shit, okay, maybe. Do you actually want to try that out?
I'll go blue, hold on.
I bet.
That's insane.
No, I want to try this out. We're gonna sit in the angles, and I just want to see how the raw damage output is. Like, we're not gonna move. Like, this is fucking stupid if this works. The only reason why I'm saying if that it's stupid is because people over hill are gonna be able to see you and then spam you out. This is purely for the HVH, which is really, really fucking stupid because you don't want to take even fights. I'm ready when you are.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, shoot.
I went way too early, but oh my god.
That's okay. That's okay, but it doesn't matter because I'm shooting the fucking wood around you.
Good lord.
The bullet spread is too
Hold
big
on,
to
hold
where
on.
I'm shooting the wood.
You stand in that
Watch.
spot, I'm just gonna try to like peek around this angle. Oh my god. Okay, alright. Developing the heavy meta. I see.
I guess this is like, oh, if you think the heavy's gonna peek you, then I guess you can play back here.
The fucking Swede shots, that's what it is. Because it just ends up being red attack that the spy is able to stab you from. Like, look at this.
The Swede angle.
No,
Did I just invent a new angle?
Probably. You have mics. You have like Swede's section. Fucking unreal corner. But I can imagine people outside the HVH are just gonna be able to deal with you.
Yeah, of course. This is an ego thing.
Not even an ego thing. It's just more of like a DM thing. But either way, when you're playing over here by the corner, you're either choosing to play inside tons, in which case I prefer to play over here for the information and the ability to back up in case they start walking into me. But also, this is just an oppressive spot to be. You have a body glitch, so people aren't able to do full damage to you. They have to walk into you. You're prepared for it half the time. And even if nobody's walking over here, if you just want to leave this angle alone for a little bit, you could then peek hill with your combo, but then slowly get back to the spot. It's really, really nice. And I really like playing it with a soldier, mostly because if my soldier and I are on the same page, and this is what you're going to have to look out for on offense, my soldier and I are just going to drop down and poke and prod at cart. And the reason why we do this is because if we see the cart is right in between this bridge right here, they're not going to see us walking through. That's the opportune time for them to walk in and kind of just deal with the people on cart. But it's also important to recognize that when you're playing on offense, you're holding that angle for this exact reason. So you always want to be prepared for any sort of aggression like that. Because the moment a soldier tries spamming you and then the heavy joins on offense, you're going to have to back up and let them eat that damage. So then they're forced to back up. When you're playing on defense and you're doing this exact same thing, get as much damage as you can, but take as little damage as you can. In which case, you're going to have to back up all the way over here, eat a sandwich, or just get an arrow. Oh, you messed up the timing. Watch this, you ready?
Appear to be a bit retarded.
Very well.
Oh, look at that. Oh, watch this, watch it. Oh! Oh, you messed it up. Alright, cool. But yeah, I just like playing side tons. But that doesn't mean that you can't push over hill. If people inside tons are not a factor, if they're dead, if they're not pushing you, you can play over by hill a little bit. And here's where it gets a little bit interesting, because you can force them to not walk this angle. If your demo's not committing to a fight, but you see an opportune time to walk in, you can tell your team to commit with this fight. There's a lot of ways that you can help your team when you play this spot. The number one thing that you should be looking for, how close are they to you if they're playing far? How close are you if they're playing close? Is there anybody who can play close to kind of stop you from doing this? And of course, is there a sniper? Is there a spy? But also just, hey, where's their heavy? Where's their soldier? Oh, their side tunnel? Or their tunnel? Okay, cool. I'm just watching tunnel, and I'm going to walk over here for a fight with my combo. Wait, actually, wait, is that even more of a Reddit tech if you just play up over here instead?
Holy fuck.
No fucking way.
Oh my god, you were getting raped in this angle.
Okay, and the recording's cut. Alright, thanks, Weech.
Oh.
Yeah,
You can edit that part out, no?
No, I'm not going to edit that out. I just want you to feel the shame. You said
My
that.
fault.
No, you said that because you were on the Townsy team, and the Townsy team corrupted you. You never used to say that shit, but now you do. Fucking... You could kill me, but I'm still right. But yeah. We'll talk more about... I mean, we already talked about all there is to tunnel, so... Then it goes on to if you're not able to hold side tunnel in the beginning, and if so, where do you stand? Sometimes you'll be able to walk up over hill, or you're going to be able to back up over hill when your team loses a fight, and from there, you can make this a spot where you could play at. The reason why I love this spot is because if you need to, you can back up all the way to the window and drop down. If not, you're playing really close, they're walking up into you, you can call a fight for your team and play this aggressively. But it's important for you to recognize if people are still in the back over hill, you peek early, they know where you're at, so you're just a goner. So please, when you're playing this spot, you're playing for the information, but you're also playing for the advantage, the opportunity. Wait for them to come into you. Wait for the right time. If they're not dealing with you, that's more chances for you to deal with them. If they elongate the fight, this spot becomes a whole lot better. But it only becomes better because your team is trying to push in with you. The best time for you to do this is when your team is walking up. Either when you're supporting them if they're completely through, or you just being the catalyst for that push to work. And if you need to, you could always drop down and play passive spots. Another thing that you could try doing is if you don't have control over hill, but your team wins a fight, instead of you walking over hill, wait, let me just talk about this for a second. Leave this corner as soon as possible. Try not to get caught out by the people above you. Look at the staircase. Look at main if you want to walk main. Look above over here by the house or by the window, because people will be sitting up over here on offense or defense. And then your main goal is to pressure out people inside tons if they're playing close, or just getting ready to take back your spot. What I like doing instead, and this is because I prefer doing this, not because for efficiency, because it is more efficient for you to walk with your team, to clear out people over here, but I just do this as a bit of an option select. I go main tunnel. And from main tunnel, my team is walking up over hill, they're clearing out everything. I'm clearing out tunnel. I'm preventing cart time from being made. And I'm also clearing out side tons, because I'm wrapping all the way around. And because they still think that they're playing offense, then I could just bam, 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 bam. Just fucking... I'm an expert, Sweech. I'm an expert. No, but in all seriousness, though, you could just wrap behind people. But besides that, and I do want to make this a little bit quicker because I really want to talk about third. When you're playing defense, you have no space to walk forward. The best option for you to do anything for is playing over here by the staircase, waiting for people to walk in. If they don't walk in, play it wide. Don't peek the angle close, because then they can kill you. But just make the fight a whole lot more even. You give information for your team. If you're able to peek over here, then you're going to be able to walk forward. If not, you're just looking at the window, just making sure that people aren't getting through. And I swear to God, no. No, but in all seriousness, though, when you're playing the spot, you're mostly just playing to get ready to leave third. And from here, you can choose to either fight with your team if they're fighting with you. In which case, if the heavy's playing over here, this heavy's as good as dead if everybody's shooting at him. If everybody's shooting at him, he's stuck. He hides in the corner maybe, or he's just playing that spot and gets completely bulldozed by the flank. But yeah, that's just kind of how it is. You're playing to hold this spot, not push in. So act like it. Another thing you can do. It's the tried and true. I'm stuck. Oh well. You get to play in the spawn. And this is the only way where you get to play in spawn. Because the spawn doesn't open for people on third. You're able to just look down, check to see if anybody's good. And I can't open the shutter, so you want to know what that means? I don't...
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't really do it all too much anymore. Mostly because this spot is just easily like, if you hear a voice line from this heavy, you know where he is. If you see him on the cart he's playing over here, you know where he is. And if you're playing offense on heavy on third, one of the things that you want to try doing is kind of baiting him in. Like, let's just say I know he's playing over here. You want to know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait for him to walk out. Because the moment he steps out, then I walk in and I win. Because I know the shutter opens. It's so fucking stupid. But if you wanted to do something like that on defense, you can. If you kill the heavy, then you can go all the way over to here and then kill the people on cart, and it's going to be awesome. But it's also going to be very stupid. So don't be stupid. Want to know what's not stupid? Playing third. I love third. No, but in all seriousness though, you play third, you go into house, and you clear out catwalk first and foremost before anything else. You and your soldier and sniper, your main goal is to push into catwalk, hold it, and allow your sniper an angle for them to peek into their team on tracks. One thing that you can try doing is if you want to be slow, you can actually walk over this gap. You don't need to go all the way around it. Of course, if you want to play around it, that's fine, because this is still an even fight if you can make it an even fight. If you want to play close, then you could just walk all the way through here, and then just make sure that nobody's behind you like a spy. But also just being aware of people who are sitting around this angle, like a soldier or a heavy, for example. Or sometimes a scout, I've seen. But once you get up into this spot, what I really like doing is just kind of sitting over here and holding U-turn. And the reason why I do this is because when I'm holding U-turn like this, I'm able to completely deny the heavy who's playing over here. Like, he can't really shoot me all too well. I can shoot him very much. It's going to be a much better fight for me, and I have control over this. However, this, in what I've seen, is not a forcing play. You want to know what this does? It forces people to play in a reactive way, but you're also not doing anything to pressure them out. While this play is okay if you want to commit to it, the one thing that I will say that bogs it down is the fact that if people jump on, you're going to have to be aware of that. So maybe you're playing over here, but people jump onto you, you have to quickly flick around. Like a soldier or a scout might jump over here, and then they might play the angle to spam you out if you're not walking in. But another thing too, if they don't have the opportunity to go into catwalk anymore, your sniper and soldier are already playing this spot, and you're telling your soldier to play up here because you don't really want him to bomb, you want him to be building banner, stopping people from U-turn because he could do that better than you. Want to know what you could do? You can actually choose to either go underneath the staircase. In my opinion, this is something that you can do, and it's more forcing than playing up on catwalk, but it's not really that good in my opinion. Like, sure, you're able to help your team push in. It's going to make this push a whole lot better for your team if you're able to support them. And of course, you always have the head glitch. And the head glitch is really easy for you to get to. But if I'm playing on the defense and this heavy is alone, this heavy is completely looking behind, like, what are we even looking at? We're looking at the same angle? No, you're just dead. Like, it's gonna be terrible. So, instead... Oh, actually, okay. Sometimes this is fine, right? And sometimes your team will want you to play up with them if they have good cart time or if they have very good pressure on cart already. But, in my opinion, this isn't playing the objective. And therefore, it's not really all too good. Plus, you're playing up close to them, and you're doing it in a... What is happening? What is it?
Hold on.
Yeah. But long story short, you have way too much to commit, and it's like high risk, low reward. Because you're not exactly making the push work. You're just supporting the push. Now, you can play in a way where you can support the push, and you can make it your push if you peek around this angle, but those situations are so far and few between, and they only rely on the fact that a pyro or a demo is not alive to stop you. In those cases, sure, it might be good for you to do that. It's a nice little thing that you can do, but it's more dependent on the situation than it is the play itself, and that's where it becomes problematic. I like going under here when I just know that they are not going to stop cart no matter what we do. Because sure, playing cart does seem a little bit boring, but you want to know what's not boring? Playing up over here and trying to force them out of this position. Because you just can. But again, while it does have some advantages, it is not the best option in my opinion, because it does not capitalize off of the fact that there's no cart. Or there's very little pressure on cart. Usually when most of the... sorry. What am I saying? When you're doing this, you're assuming that cart is going to be pressured by your scout and NG and other classes like that. Sometimes that just doesn't happen. So, what happens if they can't do that? This spot then becomes a little bit redundant because you guys aren't getting cart time. So, what I like to do, when I go on catwalk, I like to do a downward sloping motion. Mostly because as soon as I get catwalk control, my soldier and sniper are prepared in this position. That's when I can drop down over to tracks and help my team push the cart. And the reason why I'm helping them push the cart is because there's very little for a heavy to do on catwalk. There's a lot to do in U-turn. Or not U-turn. There's a lot to do in shithouse. But this is more of a spot where you can play at the objective and help your team get a better cap. Or have a better time pushing. Let's just say, for example, I'm off catwalk. There's nobody on U-turn. Nobody's playing forward except for their demo. They're playing like all the way back over here. Your team has space. They're taking the fight normally. You are then helping your scout and NG, pushing the cart all the way through. Or you're leaving once it gets up past this point right here. Or you're leaving once it gets to this point, and then you're choosing to go shithouse. Or you're choosing to go all the way through main, so you can then either fight tracks again, fight main again, or go up into catwalk. This gives you that chance to do that. And it's much better than going up here initially, in my opinion. Because you're prioritizing cap time, it makes the push a whole lot more efficient. Plus, when you're playing catwalk and you're jumping all the way over, it's streamlined. Let's just say, for example, I'm walking all the way over here. I'm doing my job. Ubers go out. I hide in the corner because that's where you're supposed to play. Nobody jumps at me. I check nobody's over here. Nobody's in front. All right, cool. Perfect time for me to go through and sit on the cart. Also, yeah, you could probably see shadows through that, but I don't have shadows enabled, so, yeah. But then over here, I'm kind of just saying, hey, maybe I'm not needed on cart. My S-Scout and NG can do a good job capping it. I'm going to go shithouse for a fight. Now, of course, with this, it can be very predictable, and people can pick up on that fact. Especially spies, especially demos, especially people who are trying to deny the cart, like Scout, for example. So, do this at your own discretion. But also realize that this is the most dynamic way that Heavy can play on any payload map. Third offense is so much fun if you make it fun. But oftentimes people don't because they're playing the same boring angle like this. And while this sometimes works, This banks on the fact that people other than yourself are on the cart. And the reason why I'm making it such a big deal for you to sit on the cart, this gets spammed. People who are squishy, like your NG and Scout, can't push the cart like you do. You have 450 health if you're overhealed, and with Fist of Steel, that goes all the way up to 600. Now you're just pushing the cart with 600 HP or 750 HP, and nobody can stop you unless they physically force themselves onto the cart, like a Spy, like a Pyro, like a Scout. That's when you force mistakes, and that's when you allow these pushes to gain much better momentum, because cart time is a constant threat that they need to deal with. If they are not dealing with it, you guys win because you cap and they're not doing anything about it. So, when you're playing over here by tracks, you force people to come to you, and that's where heavy excels. But, if you need to play your own game, you could always take the pack, and you could always go to main through here, playing this head glitch to deny people from going into U-turn. Of course, assuming that people are in catwalk. The reason why I'm making a big stick about playing the objective, playing on cart, is assuming that these angles are either being dealt with by your soldier, by your sniper, or not being dealt with, like with your scout and with your NG. You are playing to support people, and that is what heavy should be. This entire time I've been talking about playing with others, and this is the part where it really matters. More so than any other point, you are helping your players get into these spots. You are helping your sniper get into catwalk. You are helping the NG and scout get cap time. And of course, when everything's all said and done, you're helping your combo push from a different angle because you decide to peek here over here by the head glitch, and you're able to slowly walk in with your team when that fight becomes in your favor. And again, it's freestyle. It's dynamic. You don't have to play a very static gameplay loop. And that's what many heavies kind of get stuck doing. Not because they don't know better, but because the situation that they put themselves in doesn't allow for dynamic play. Check the situation and help your team push the angles that are important. It is important for you to have cap time. It's important for you to have some amount of shithouse pressure when you're pushing over hill. And it's important before all of that to get your sniper on catwalk and have an angle for him. Or create an angle for your soldier to create spam. With all that said and done, that's offense. Let's talk about the boring part on defense. And I say boring part, but it's also really fun. So defense can be boiled down to playing passive, playing semi-aggressive but not committed, and playing fully aggressive and committed. We'll talk about the fully aggressive stuff later, but I do want to just nail down the basics that you need to understand for the standard hold. Most of the time, you're going to be playing in U-turn, and when you're over here, you don't want to sit in this angle. You either want to be playing over here by the pack and letting people walk into you, or you want to actively walk into them and make it so that you don't have a whole bunch of time sitting inside of U-turn. If you sit inside of U-turn, this is where you get spammed. This is where you get shot at. This is where you get denied. And that's when you're forced to play back, and then you're forced to eat and hope that people don't walk into you. If they do, you're going to have to hope that you play an angle correctly, or you're going to have to hope that they just don't kill you because you have people with you. They can spam you from a variety of different angles, and it's annoying all the same. So, don't sit in U-turn if you're planning on pushing it. If you're pushing it, push with a soldier. Do this together with people. Your team is pushing, you're pushing, and you're trying to be as aggressive as you can. You're looking for combo classes. You're looking for the heavy. You're looking for people who are on catwalk. You're looking for a bunch of different people, but at the same time, just be aware, you are not the push, you are part of the push. So if you die, you have to let people know that you are not watching U-turn. And that goes for anything that you do. Because U-turn is important for you to hold, in the event that people walk into you. So, what happens if you don't have forward space, like if your demo dies, or your sniper dies, or you don't have the gun? The best thing that I can tell you to do is to play this angle right here, or get ready to play aggressive by this angle over here. The reason being, as soon as people try walking through, you're able to see that, and you're able to take the fight in your own hands, assuming that they're not walking through main at the exact same time. This catches out sloppy behavior, but it does not allow you to get anything unless that sloppy behavior is accompanied by the fact that they're just not doing anything else in this push. If they're getting U-turn control, but are not committed, not pushing, they're playing back, this gives you the opportunity to see if they're playing in. This gives you the information that's necessary for you to gauge whether it's a nice time for you to walk in, but it's not going to prevent everything. Like, for example, I peek over here, I see that he crosses over, now I can play this angle and peek him like this. And of course, at the exact same time, I can shoot him from over here. If he walks through. Now he's dead. But, yeah, just whenever you're in a stick, do that. But the reason why I say it's important for you to not play in a U-turn all too much, this is the passive hold, is because this just allows so much room to be gotten from the other team. If you're playing passive, they just get so much free room. And sometimes that's just unfortunately the matter of things. Your demo's dead, you're not able to push, so you're gonna have to force them, or you're gonna have to allow them to get space over hill. That's just how it is sometimes. And also when you're playing over by U-turn, be aware of the heavy by shithouse or anybody else by shithouse. Because this can be really annoying, but it's much more annoying for your combo classes than it is for you. You are just there to support your combo classes in the event this heavy's over here by shithouse. But, if he's over here by shithouse, you could try to walk over and try to get some space over here. Of course, he can still shoot you from shithouse as well. He could just change his target priority. And it would be better for you to die than it would be for your combo to immediately die, because then there's nobody on their combo. So no pieces are traded. Just the one capture, that's all. But let's just talk about another thing, though. Even though people can do this, what you can do is not choose to play deep passive and wait for them to walk into you. You can play aggressive. I've seen an increasing amount of heavies playing in this aggro spot right here, watching catwalk main, and playing with their team. The most important thing that you need to realize when playing this spot is that people are either with you or not with you. A demo's either not or is holding main. A sniper is not or is playing with you. A soldier is or not playing with you or is going over to catwalk. Make this either a spot that you can get to immediately, that you can play aggressively in and force mistakes, or make this a play that you can do to kind of stall. This is good at stalling, mostly because you're able to do your damage, but you're still countered by things like sniper. From catwalk, from main, there's just a lot that you can do in this spot, sure, but there's very much a lot of vulnerabilities with the spot. So it's kind of good, but it's also kind of bad in some cases. And it doesn't even stop them from walking in main unless you peek all the way around over here and become a central target. Now, if you play over here, you're trolling. So... Was that funny?
If you're playing over here, you're trolling. I was trying to see if you could stand on this beam here, because there is a tick where you raise slightly from the beam.
It is,
but you can't walk on it. But...
That is like ultra Reditech that fish used to kill himself. Anyway. The more important thing about this spot is that it allows you, if your team is comfortable with holding forward, playing on catwalk. And this is where you and your soldier have a fun time playing this map. Because if you and your soldier are able to get up here, of course your soldier whips you because you can't do the fucking jump. Or you can do the jump, but I don't know why I missed it. Oh, no. Yeah, this jump is difficult. Many people have different ways of getting to it. I just do trial by fire. But...
yeah, watch this shit. Watch how fluent this is. Ready?
Okay, alright, I'm waiting. Okay, alright, you know what? Yeah, do it again. You do it again, I'll give you a key. Fuck. Alright. Alright.
See, that's why I think like this way that I was talking to you before is low-key better because if you get really consistent at it with the timing, it's much faster than if you
But
just do like
that's just like the
the other way.
timing though. I'm like doing it based off of like muscle memory, but you're doing it based off of a time. And that's where it like can be really good. And you should also make that a habit if you want to make it a habit. So Sweej is doing something that's better for him than it is for me. But that's okay because people jump at this spot at different ways. I just prefer to guarantee it. So I usually end up running the Gru or getting a whip because I want to guarantee it. And I'm not really that good at doing the jump. And Sweej, yeah, I sent you a key because I'm not a fucking loony. But we can start talking about this spot. I'm a man of my word. What can I say?
Oh yeah.
Fucking Christ. Anyway, but yeah, when you're playing this spot, you're either going to be playing passive, waiting for people to walk into you, checking both of these angles as well. Just making sure that nobody's getting through, playing with your team, playing aggressive. If not, you're playing super aggressive into them. That way they have no space to try and kill you. Or if they do, maybe they walk in, they're not prepared for it, so then you just walk in and kill them. I'm also really good at, like, denying that. Holy fuck. Or not denying it, but, like, not killing you, so.
Yeah, what the fuck? 3 HP, 2 HP? Damn, bro.
Yeah. How much HP you at?
120, 6, 31. Okay. Well,
You said 126? Yeah, I fucked up. Anyway, but here's the important part. People can still catch you out if your team is not supporting you. If your team is playing back, you should also play back. But because you're playing in a much more committed spot, your team should feel incentivized to play a bit more forward. You shouldn't be playing in the back over here all the time. You should try to play as aggressively as you can and trying to rotate around to where people are usually trying to fight you from. Again, this is more of a play because it feels more of a like a stalling tactic. Give me my key back. No. No.
oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Wait, hold on.
If you miss this jump, you give me back
Oh
the
yeah?
key.
Oh, hold on, I'm lagging. Whoa. Okay. Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
I'm lagging.
Double or nothing.
Oh yeah? Okay, I'm
Oh,
lagging.
look at that. Oh.
I'm lagging. The keystroke just didn't go. The keystroke again, man. What the
Look at
hell?
you. Yeah, jumping master. Oh, give me back my
Oh,
fucking key.
the key.
That's what I fucking thought. Give me my key. And a seal the deal. Give me the key now.
You did well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah? No, but when you are playing this spot, people are going tracks. Oh, I forgot. You could just. I wanted to. Hold on. I'm pushing the cart right now. Hold on. I'm pushing the. That's so fucking. Like, I'm pushing the cart and you can't walk forward. Like, as soon as I get to this spot, you're just kind of donezo. So, like.
Oh.
No.
This shit is so stupid.
Dude, the people in the video are gonna think that I'm like schizophrenic and retarded. Holy.
You.
I mean we.
God, bro. I might be the most Reddit tech heavy player to ever touch the game.
No, you're not. Thank God you're not. What have I done? Anyway. But the important aspect is if you're playing over here, you're playing to bait people into you on catwalk, in which case you can fight them. If you want to be a bit more aggressive, this is a little bit of a deception. You have to walk forward if you want to shoot through it, but it does give you that information much better than if the other person was standing over here. So like, for example, I see that somebody's over here. I can't shoot him. Oh, you can just shoot me. Okay, no, don't play that spot. Don't play that spot at all.
Wait, I swear you can like.
You have to walk through, I think.
Wait, you go over there? No, I can hit you.
But then I could just back up, and then you're kind of just forced to eat the damage and back up too. But I mean,
Or it can be like, or it can be weird and just be like, you know,
well, yeah. But then at that point, you're like weird. So the only person who gets you is unironically a spy, because spies are gonna be doing this sometimes. Like they see you over here, and because they're weird, they're going to just, on defense, by the way, stab, or not on defense, on offense, by the way, go onto catwalk and then stab you. It's like the weirdest shit. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, see this as more of a play, not as a hold. If you make this a hold and it works, that's one thing, but a team should properly pressure you out. You are then, in any case, trying to deny where they're trying to walk. And, in more important cases, allow them to walk through so you can better deal with them as soon as they're through. Like, for example, if I'm playing over here, they don't see me, maybe I'm playing the wall like this, I can easily deal with them. However, if they know I'm over here, now this becomes a bit of a threat. Maybe their demo starts putting stickies on me when they're walking up main. Maybe their heavy and soldier are getting supported by a sniper. So now I really can't peek them. Actually, I want to see some. This is so fucking stupid if this works. Switch, can you be a doll and go catwalk for a second? I just want to see how bad this angle is. Not for main. It's like terrible for main. But what about catwalk? Holy shit, this is terrible. Like you, I want to see what you're seeing. Actually, can you go to that spot? I'm checking. Nobody's over here. Oh.
Yeah. By the way, you can see the half of my body. I could, and if you're standing like all the way, like go back, like back. Yeah. I
Like,
can't even see you.
That is so
I
fucking...
see your shadow. I
No,
see your
that's-
shadow, so I know you're gonna peek, but
Right,
I can't
but
even see you.
That's
Doesn't
another
matter.
reason to turn on shadows, by the way. For anybody who hasn't, shadows are literally wall hacks. You want to know what you can also see with shadows? Swede is going to be able to see it, but people playing this on the wall close, oh man, there it is. There's the shadow. Woo. Woo. I turned off shadows to make my FPS at 450 consistently.
Fair enough.
But anyway, that's it for defense. Nothing more to really say. I'm a little bit tired, so I'm a speed run through playing last. Because honestly, it is the least sophisticated out of all the three. Or out of all the four.
Agreed.
It's much more sophisticated if there's a tiles hold, but I'll tell you how to break it. So, in any case, your team is pushing up. Your job is to just control clock. And the way that you do it, you either sit over here and wait for people to walk into the windows, like a scout, a soldier, maybe a heavy. But you never see that. But, yeah. Most of the time you're just waiting for your team to get pressure. Then you, your combo classes, your soldier, your sniper, you're just going to aim for picking the gun. As soon as you guys get into clock, you in all these positions, you focus gun, then your demo and medic takes an Uber exchange, and from here, you can either play on top of clock and sit here for a little while, or you're going to drop down onto cart and help them push the cart. The reason why you'd want to play up over here is because people are in pub spot and they're able to easily get spammed. Maybe not by your demo, but by you sitting over here. But as soon as they get out of playground and there's no other person playing in different spots, like for example, if the heavy's in desperation, you have to be careful. Or you could just go and drop down and fight him from like over here, for example. But as soon as people are out of the way, don't stay up and clock. Go by the crates and play over here to deny people going on playground. Or not playground, pub spot. Or you can help push the cart. Those are the two things that you need to do. Once people are pushed away, you're either denying people, in which case they're either focusing you but you have a health pack and you have the crates to help you out, and they're also wasting stickies that should be used on the cart, which is another important thing. But yeah, it's just a nice little play that you can do. It helps the team, you're pushing the cart with them, and it's much more efficient at getting the job done than sitting over here the entire time. However, there is another thing that I do want to tell you about. If your team takes an Uber exchange and they're all backed up, nobody's dropped down, one thing that you can do is you can either stay in here, wait for them to drop down, or if you see them drop down at any point, for example. Like, let's just say they take an Uber exchange, I'm playing the window, I see that they drop down, and I see that they're not running away. I can easily deal with them from clock. I can make it a play for me to drop down and either kill their demo or kill their med. Or their heavy if they're playing there. But That shouldn't work, because people shouldn't be doing that. At least not while the Uber is not latching on them. So, another important thing for you to consider, not even playing the spot to begin with. This spot is so boring, and there's other things that are important. The soldier, for example, on defense is going to be playing over here by crates. You are going to have to clear stickies on both of, like, not even in that spot, but like above here, below here. It's really annoying to deal with, and you can't see them, so you can't clear them unless you prepare for it. Also, another thing, you are watching Spiral. If you're not watching Spiral, you're exclusively watching Clock. A scout, a soldier, if they drop down, you're going to be able to see them. Or you're going to be able to fight them, but if you're not there, you're not going to be able to fight them. And another thing, too. If, for whatever reason, you want to try and Aww. For me? Alright, anyway, but yeah, during an Uber exchange, you could Fist of Steel, and you can walk all the way over here if the soldier's not by crates. The important thing is your team should be pressuring the soldier out, and if you're able to get a mate, if you're able to stay over here, the soldier has nowhere to go, he doesn't jump in, your team is safe from any single flanker, now you're able to play these crates, and now you're deep looking into their spawn, you're deep looking into pub spot, but more importantly, you're able to drop down and fight them over here on the right side, or you're able to help them on cart, or you're gonna swan dive, eagle dive into desperation to kill the heavy.
I hate when you did that. Holy fuck, that actually pissed me off.
Yeah, I told you about it. You didn't do that to me. I did that to you.
I was like, just make sure, like, that area, like, at least call if there's gonna be a heavy there. And no one said shit.
Look at you choke.
And we actually almost held you guys too. I was looking frustrated. I was like, there's no way this fat ass heavy walked here and jumped down uncalled. I don't get it.
You'd be surprised. Not because I'm uncalled, but because there's just not much that you can do if I get over here.
Well, if you're
there's not much that you could do when I get over here.
Okay, I think you made that pretty clear there.
Yeah, I know. No, but you shoot the gun, you focus people who are playing up in the spawn, you deal with the people trying to stop people from capping, and of course when everything's all said and done, you can then choose to drop down and help them cap, and of course just doing everything you can to help the push. With that being said though, one important thing that you gotta realize is some teams will not be playing the stock standard way. In fact, they'll be playing a much more sophisticated way. And when I say sophisticated, I really mean like two monkeys bashing rocks together and hoping that a fire comes up. That's the tiles hold. This is an old, bold, outdated strategy. And you want to know how you play it on defense? I'll just give you the quick rundown. The heavy plays over here. The demo plays in clock. Your pyro, you and the medic play over here. The medic plays in this corner. And the entire time, people are watching tracks, your demo's watching clock, your medic might rotate over for your demo, so you have to be careful. If your medic rotates over, you might need to play a little bit back like this, not letting anybody through, but also not watching what's underneath. And this is the important game plan for defense on tiles, for the tiles hold. If you can, play aggressive if people are not walking into you. If you need to, back up as soon as they're ready to try and push into you. Your main goal, prevent them from getting space up into Harry Potter by denying the bomb, or your pyro denies the bomb. You deny the staircase space from being made, so you're just stopping people from getting in, and you're also watching hell, or under. Why is this important? Because you are the one who actually takes the Ubers. Demos don't. Unless, you know, they're awesome. But no, in all seriousness...
Townsy?
Oh yeah. And anyway, the important thing for you is to just learn when to rotate out, learn when to back up, learn when to play the aggressive spots and when to play the passive spots. This never happens. If you want to force people to do this, watch a season 14 demo. That's like the last time I did this shit. But like, yeah. The most important thing is that people will be walking into you from under. And I shit you not when I say this, it is literally unstoppable if you play your cards right on offense. Like, if you play your cards right, you either force them or you get a lot of picks. So, when you're playing for tiles, or you're playing to push underneath with your team, you go into spiral. You are going to be one of the last ones to peek down with your team. You're all going to drop together. Your sniper's going to probably go first with the demo. But you guys are all going to conglomerate over here. Your job is to then be a support or have other people watching this angle when all of this is being said and done. You guys are watching it together. And then, once your sniper's in this position, and yes, he has to be in this position, he walks up, take the shot, and then boom, I'm walking in with my combo, and I'm either taking an Uber exchange, or this is now the sack. Because now my soldier's with me, I'm getting whips, my demo's getting whips. Now we're going to bulldoze through, kill this heavy. This soldier is going to bomb through Harry Potter and just kill the medic or force them. That's the entire play. You either push doing that, in which case you have a demo and a heavy pushing together, or you have a sack where everybody does the exact same thing, but the soldier is not... Or, well, the soldier is a part of the situation, not during the Ubers, but during the sack. Maybe during the post-fight it's better for him, but I don't remember. But, yeah. That's not only how to push under, but if you're playing with your team by clock, another thing that you can do is just helping your sniper, protecting him from spies and stuff like that. But honestly, if your team has a really good position, you guys just take the Uber exchange. You guys kill the gun. You should just be playing up over here anyway. In my opinion, like, this is just much better. I see what you're doing. Anyway. Time for defense. Because that's pretty much it for offense.
The most fun part incoming.
Hold on, I'll let you in.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I can. Okay. All right. We're having fun now.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh yeah. But anyway, so over here you're just playing by pub spot. You're helping your demo. He's playing over here by crates. You can also do the exact same thing if the situation calls for it. The advantages with this is that you're able to watch deeper into main. You're watching clock. You're watching a bit of tiles. You're watching all the way from under. But there's one important aspect to it. You're slow. You're still fat, and even though you have 300 HP, 450 if you get an overheal, you're just not going to be able to stop anything that's happening from going through. So, you're playing more of a supportive role. You're helping your demo. You're playing in this spot instead. You're still watching tiles, you're still watching clock, still watching under, and you're still watching main. Of course, these angles don't have the same level of depth to them as if you were to play over here. But at the same time, you're just looking to stop people from getting in. And if they're trying to fight you, if they're trying to do everything they can to stop you, this is just the best way to counter that. Like, a sniper playing over here by tiles is unable to kill you unless you peek. Don't peek. Just let them play over here and keep on doing what you're doing. Nobody's pushing into you. If they get cart time, you're shooting the cart with the rest of your team. You're calling for pressure on cart. Of course, the sniper can rotate over here, but you want to know what I could do? Back up a little bit. If he goes over to this window, yeah, that's where it starts getting fucky. Now you go over here. And you want to know what happens next? Yeah, that's fucky. So be aware of snipers who try doing that. They will try doing that sometimes. But you want to know what your sniper's going to do? Oh, there he is. There he is. There he is. Like, it's going to be fucking easy. Most snipers are going to try taking the SVS. If he goes for you, your sniper's dead and you need to be prepared to leave. But, yeah, besides that, they're going to just try to bulldoze through cart. Your job is to then focus the cart pushers, the scout, the engineer, anybody who's behind the cart. You're pressuring people who are in main, so the demo, like the pyro. If they go all the way through during an Uber exchange and you're a part of the Uber, wait a little bit. If they're still stuck in, you can actually drop down and kill the players who are forward. Surprisingly, you have better spawns on defense than they do on offense, because your spawn is right here. You're playing right here. So it's just better for you to kind of look for those opportunities. And of course, if they take an Uber through main or Harry Potter, let me show you the trick to live every single time. You go onto Silo, or you go onto these, Sorry, my bad. No, you go onto spools, right? And I'll just wait for Sweej, because I know he's playing demo. Because he's going to be showing a demonstration. Can you not put sticks all in the same place, by the way? I just want to show them what it usually looks like.
Sure.
So a demo walks through with Uber. You see the Uber. You're prepared for it. You have 450. And then look at this.
Very well.
unironically eating here, waste a whole bunch of stickies, you get arrows, you still have that buff, and you're able to play the spot immediately afterwards. The only disadvantage with this, the demo does not need to detonate the stickies all the time. A soldier, if he sees that he's taking an Uber exchange with his team, if he gets flashed, he's going to immediately kill your demo if he's not part of the Uber. Or he's going to kill you because you have to be flashed. In this situation, it kind of forces your medic to do so, which forces your medic to step out and kind of give you the beam a little bit, which exposes them to sniper sight lines right over here. But more importantly, you're just not doing anything until this Uber's over. Once the Uber is over, that's when you can go ahead and start playing these spots like normal again. However, they might try spamming you. That's when you go over to spools, wait for them to stop, and then you go back in. You try baiting it a little bit so you can make the fight ahead of you a whole lot better, because you have these access to heals, you have the access to team support, but that doesn't mean that it's always going to work out in your favor. If your sniper dies, that sniper is going to go through every single window to try and kill you. And sometimes that's all that needs to happen. And other times the cart is so pushed up that playing over here is not as effective as it once was. That's when you need to consider start backing up and playing over in desperation. And desperation is a whole nother can of worms because sure, it might get the job done a little bit, but if people are all going tiles and they're going all the way through under, guess who's going to spam you out? The soldier, the demo, the sniper, the spy, the heavy, the pyro with detonator, which is really fucking annoying even though it doesn't do anything. They're just going to try spamming you out. You have to play over in weird angles, get arrows from your medic. It forces the attention to go solely onto the heavy. Because if you're playing your life and you're prioritizing survival and the cap time over anything else, they're going to paint you as a target. You are stopping the cart from being pushed in an angle where the demo can't normally shoot from or has to wait a longer time for him to shoot over. This means that he's going to need a lot longer time to deal with the people on cart, which could lead it to getting pushed. Why is this important? Because if you can't deny, if you are sitting up in a pub spot with your team, and you're unable to get into this spot, meaning people are able to sit behind the cart and do this, you are just losing the game immediately. This is why it's also important for you to stop them in their tracks when they're pushing the cart as soon as possible. If you guys are not prioritizing stopping them from getting on the cap, you guys are going to lose the game in a much more efficient way. That's why if nobody's in pub spot, nobody's playing in any of the spots, you should drop down from clock and maybe even push cart a little bit. Then you can decide whether to stick on cart or go tracks. I prefer to stick on the crates a little bit, mostly because if they drop down or if they're shooting over, they're wasting stickies. Then if the cart is pushed up a little bit, then I can immediately get onto the cart myself and help it push. But yeah, there's just a lot that goes into it. And unfortunately, that's pretty much it for defense heavy. Most of it is going to be playing pub spot in the beginning, and you're going to have to find an opportunity for you to get into desperation. And when you're in desperation, you're going to have to pay attention to the people on tracks, people clock, people tiles, people above you on crates, and of course the spies who's hiding in the corner. But besides that...
not only that, if you get spammed out, have fun with the sniper sitting here, by the way.
Oh yeah, but that sniper is not going to be sitting there when the cart can possibly be won. So it could be the case that the sniper does this. If he's doing this, he's playing very positionally, but he's playing to counter you exclusively. The sniper in most cases is going to be playing up in tiles because this angle is just that much more oppressive. But sometimes the sniper will see that you're playing in an exploitative spot, so he will exploit that spot by playing a much better class in a much better spot against you in a much worse spot. That's why it's called desperation and not anything else. Yeah. Damn. Alright, well that's the first review. Sweet, do you have any questions?
Not really. There is one scenario that is like puzzling me a little bit. But it's on first, it's not on last. Last is like the most basic point of all time, I think.
Well, we could just talk about first. Yeah, that's fine. Kill bunny.
Please spawn closer, please. Okay, awesome. There's been like one or two times where part of the sack, their goal is to get the heavy off of playground, and when they get off playground, I get headshotted from the drop down like this.
Yep.
It's kind of unfortunate, but I don't know how to like live if that's the case, because it's like I'm being sticked, I'm being rocketed, a scout's running at me, and then as soon as I drop, I get headshotted. It's like, damn, bro.
Well, if they're all sacking onto you for the play, it might just be better for you to play, ironically, just back over here. Because when we're playing aggressive like this, we're playing in these aggressive spots, there's always the risk that they're just going to go for you instead of the people who are playing around you. So, if that's the case, recognize that this is something that a team can do. Because it's not going to be immediately apparent. You know, if they do this during an official, the only thing that I can really say is unrev and back up all the way like this. If you want to live, that is one of the best ways for you to live. But this also omits any way of you fighting because you need to get the health pack. You need to eat, and the only way where you can eat and maybe do something after is eating over here, but then you get killed by the spy or there's something like that, or you just get face fucked. But let me come over here. No. No, but like in all seriousness, if they go for you during the sack, if you are the target for the sack, you have to recognize it. They're spamming you. They're going for you. They're chasing you. Maybe they bomb directly into you. Maybe it might just be better to jump rev away from the spot because they know that you're going to be playing in an area rather than they're going to be they know that you're playing in a certain place in an area rather than the entire area. If you get what I mean. Like if they're sacking onto you exclusively, there's counterplay options. They're jumping onto you. You can immediately deal with that even if you jump rev. That's one of those situations where you don't need to jump down all the way over here, but you can help your team and help yourself by just putting yourself in a much better position really quickly. And being able to shoot them immediately after is a consolation, but it's also kind of just what it has to be because it's the sack. Also, you're just talking about the sack, right? You're not talking about a push.
Yeah. No. This is a sack.
Okay.
Like
if
it's
they're
like
to...
vigil. It's like vigil first, you know. It's like, oh, we're
Yeah.
gonna sack with the heavy on cliff. This is like the same idea.
If they're pushing into you directly as well, they're gonna have more time to set up. This is where getting information is that much more important. When you're playing for a sack, you're playing with the expectation rather than the information most times out of 10. So, when you're getting ready for denying their push, make sure you have the information and play with it accordingly. Like, don't let yourself be seen if you can help it. If you can, get as much information as you can. Ask other people for help, especially your spy. Your spy is a godsend. Ask them for support. They will support you. Also, another thing that you could try doing is visualizing where people are on a mini-map that's inside of your head. Top-down bird's-eye view. Sure, this might not be the best for everybody, but it is something that Erie's been cooking up for a long while now. He's been practicing this for years. And I think that he is one of the best proponents of it. Mostly because nobody else has talked about it in the same way that he does. It works for him, but it might also work for another person. So if you can, visualize where people are on the map. Visualize, hey, maybe an engineer icon or a scout icon are over here on the left side, and on the right side, sniper's on the rock by spawn, the demo's walking over hill. There's certain things that you can pick up and assume, but that doesn't mean that you can't look out for information nonetheless. That just means you have an idea of where they're playing. And that's all there really is to it. With sacks, however, you have no idea what they're doing unless your spy gives a really quick, really clean comm. But besides that, is there anything else I could talk to you about, Switch?
Nah.
Alright. Nope, you're not doing that. Let me show you the secret hidden Putus tech, by the way. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, wait, this didn't work? Oh, The fuck? Wait a minute, did it enable SV cheats for you?
Let's find out. Nope.
Interesting. Alright. This is where I'm going to end the review, actually. I'm not going to go through the entire process just so I can show people Reddit tech window jumps that ended up letting me get killed by Muja anyway. I shit you not, I tried doing that against the chalk team,
Yeah.
but Mujet was sitting in clock. So when I jumped through the window, and I did it first
You just
try,
get headshotted.
I did it first try, by the way. Like, I nailed it, and then I immediately got headshot in the window. It was the stupidest shit ever.
Oh man.
I want to make it work so bad. But yeah, that's the end of the review. See you guys.